नमस्कार। एक और एपिसोड दिल से स्टोरीज पे। आज हमारे साथ फिर एक बहुत ही मीठी पर्सनैलिटी हैं, मिसेस वंशिका पुरी।
नमस्ते। नमस्ते।
आप अपना परिचय दीजिएगा प्लीज हमारे दर्शकों को।
तो मेरा नाम है वंशिका पुरी एंड आज मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है इनसे बात करने की, विच इज अ वेरी बिग डील फॉर मी। एंड आई एम अ स्मॉल पेस्ट्री शेफ एंड होपफुली a flutist in the making right now, trying hard. So I hope आज के दिन आपको थोड़ी इंफॉर्मेशन और कुछ सीखने मिलेंगे कॉन्वर्सेशन से हमारे। तो
हाँ,
yes।
बहुत दिलचस्प हैं आप। और मैं डॉक्टर पराग भारद्वाज हूँ। तो स्वागत है आपका। और हम सीधे घुल जाते हैं आपके जीवन की स्टोरी के बारे में। तो बताइए, आप पेस्ट्री शेफ कैसे बनी?
बहुत ही लंबी स्टोरी। आप लंबा सुनना चाहेंगे कि शॉर्ट स्टोरी में सुनना
शॉर्ट करनी पड़ेगी क्योंकि मेरे पास बहुत सारे सवाल हैं।
चाहेंगे? तो बेसिकली बचपन से मैं अपनी दादी को देखती थी कुकिंग और बेकिंग करते हुए, और मुझे बहुत इंटरेस्ट था तब। किचन में उनकी हमेशा मदद करती थी। एप्पल पकड़ा दो, पील कर दो, ये कर दो। So the first thing I actually ended up learning was an apple pie, my grandmom's recipe, and she was really fond of cooking. She used to cook a lot, she used to feed a lot, and the happiness I used to see in uh, her as well as the people who were consuming her product. I wanted to give that kind of happiness to everybody as well. एंड धीरे धीरे जब मैं बड़ी होती गई, ये तो आई मीन ये मैं बोल रही हूँ जब मैं 6 या 5 साल की थी। जब मैं फिर बड़ी होती गई, मेरे माइंड में हमेशा से था कि मुझे शेफ बनना है। आई यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज टेल माय पेरेंट्स कि मुझे शेफ बनना है। सो आफ्टर आई कंप्लीटेड माय 10th, आई वाज श्योर व्हाट आई वांटेड टू डू सिंस आई वाज, मतलब और कुछ एम था ही नहीं लाइफ में मेरा। बचपन से ही सेट था कि अच्छा नहीं, मैं मैथ्स एंड साइंस नहीं लूंगी क्योंकि मुझे शेफ ही बनना है, क्यों पढ़ना मैथ्स एंड साइंस। So I ended up taking hospitality, a BSc in hospitality after that. And it was a 3-year course where we had a lot of internship and a lot of strenuous work and a lot of fun work in the kitchen as well. And after that, I decided to choose the cold kitchen instead of the hot kitchen. So the cold kitchen is the cold section of the kitchen, basically the pastry section, where I love to work because it's really hot to work in the hot kitchen right now. Um, but yeah, in short, this is how I ended up becoming a pastry chef, and I pursued it from the age of 5 to now I'm 31. So yeah.
वेरी नाइस। सो यू आर लिविंग योर पैशन, है ना? तो
Yeah.
अ, एक बात बताइए, जैसे आपने बताया पेस्ट्री शेफ के बारे में, आपको जैसे रुचि हुई, तो आपने हॉस्पिटैलिटी के बारे में हमें बताया। तो हॉस्पिटैलिटी में जो आपने बैचलर्स करा, इज इट द सेम एज होटल मैनेजमेंट?
Yes, a BSc in hospitality is hotel management. But hotel management also have a few more, like how people say BA, BSc. So the BScs are basically science and hospitality. So that's exactly what I did, which has a lot of detailed subjects like food science. We have law, we have accounts, we have food engineering. We have a lot of detailed food work rather than just upar upar ka. So we actually study what goes into what and what bacteria clashes to what and all those details to actually understand what food is. So that's exactly what I've tried to do and I've done basically.
काफी सोफिस्टिकेटेड लगता है। बाहर से देखने में तो लगता है अरे ये तो बड़े आसान होगा, है ना? लेकिन आपकी डिस्क्रिप्शन से लगता नहीं है। तो
We
अ,
had a lot of subjects. We had like more than 25 subjects, like 12, 13 practical and 12, 13 theory subjects. And everything was handwritten. Like we had no printed notes. It was like if we want to write something, we had to finish a book of 500 pages, 1,000 pages, just all handwritten. So it was very strenuous in the theory aspect as well, especially for a person like me who's not very great in accounts and science. So it was very difficult for me there. But in the practical section, of course, I was pretty good at that.
no, I can understand accounting is seems very difficult. तो पेस्ट्री शेफ बनने की ट्रेनिंग आपने फिर कहाँ पे ली?
सो एक्चुअल ट्रेनिंग देखा जाए तो बचपन से ऑफ कोर्स विद माय ग्रैंड मॉम, दैट वाज द एक्चुअल वेयर आई गॉट टू लर्न क्वाइट अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स। जब मैं कॉलेज में गई आई फेल्ट दैट पेस्ट्री शेफ के लिए कुछ ज्यादा नहीं था, इट वाज मोर ऑफ जस्ट क्विजीन शेफ। So that's exactly why I chose to do another year, and I went to Paris. I went to Cordon Bleu, Paris, Le Cordon Bleu, Paris, and that's where I decided to do my diploma in patisserie. And I did like a proper 1 year course with internship after that, and I got to learn like quite a lot just there. But after I came back was the biggest challenge for me because I had to learn quite a lot of things myself because I ended up learning French authentic pastry. And when I came back, it really didn't work back here in India. They wanted a red velvet cake, which is completely an American based style of baking, not the French. So, in fact, in Paris, we didn't even learn how to make a proper, like a sponge and a buttercream, and because everything was entremets and glaçage and chocolate work and all that kind of stuff. So when I came back, I took a 1 year off just to self study and learn and understand what American bakery was. And that's how I did a lot of trials to start my French affair. The brand that I have, it's called The French Affair. I did a lot of trials on each product of mine to actually uh, finally put it on the menu and understand, okay, if you bake it this way, this is what happens. If you bake it for that long, this is what happens to your texture and your product, basically. So it was a very long process, but yeah.
Why Paris?
Why Paris? Because I had always heard that Paris was the place for pastry, and it's the gourmet and the fancy place for pastry. And and it was very impromptu actually. It wasn't that I had decided bachpan se that I'll end up going to Paris or something like that. In fact, after I finished my hospitality, I was very confused in what section of the kitchen should I be um, doing if I wanted to do cuisine, if I wanted to do pastry. And I just told my parents I need a few months off. I need to think about what I want to do exactly. And that's when suddenly I just saw this online, and just randomly I told my parents I feel I want to go here. This is it. This is what I want to do. I want to be a pastry chef. I had a lot of dreams. I wanted to be a Japanese chef and go to Japan and do all those things. But finally, I got down to doing pastry for sure because that's something I personally can't resist myself. And sugar is something that is number one for me.
हाँ, मैं पूछने वाला था, डू यू हैव अ स्वीट टूथ? तो लगता है आपको।
Only a sweet
Yeah.
tooth. Only a sweet tooth.
तो अपने आप को काबू में कैसे रखती हैं आप? तो हमेशा पेस्ट्रीज और मिठाई के आसपास ही रहती हैं फिर काम पे।
I know. So I used to, a few months ago, I was going ham and I was going all out on desserts. In fact, I have a proper sugar addiction for sure because every day I would want to have like a little dessert for sure. But now, of course, I have cut down on that. I need to cut down on that for as the fitness aspect. I need to, because our work is like completely standing, right? So I need to have a proper fitness regime to actually stand for those 12 hours, 13 hours and work daily.
हाँ, तो काफ़ी मेहनत भी लगती है इसमें। तो जब आप फ्रांस गए थे तो आपको मेहनत ही करनी पड़ी, या आपने कुछ साइट सीइंग देख करने का भी ये
Actually,
मौका मिला?
साइट सीन, टू बी फ्रैंक, साइट सीन किया, ऐसे नहीं है नहीं किया, but not as much. Because, but to be frank, um, the hospitality aspect, what I did in Bombay was much more difficult than what I did in Paris. So the Paris one was smooth as butter for me. It was fun for me. Like I used to go enjoy myself, work for those few hours and come back. So it wasn't like I wasn't like so tired, and the hours weren't as much as what we work in India here. The hours weren't as much as what I had worked in Paris. So it was very smooth for me. I traveled a lot. I traveled outside Paris also, did south of France, did Italy. I used to go every weekend somewhere or the other. So it was really nice. And also, yeah, I have a habit. The any city I go to, the first thing I would do is try their local dessert, their local sweets to understand what it is like. So everywhere I traveled, that was my aim to actually see the difference in all the products that they have So I got to learn a lot when I went to Paris to study there, actually.
Very nice. So overall, are there like certain types of pastries, or every place has its own creativity when it comes to pastries?
A lot. Germany is completely different. France is completely different. France is more of entremets. If you go to see Italy's, pretty much influenced quite a lot with the US as well, because they have a lot of heavy almond sponge cakes with the coffee buttercream and chocolate. If you go to Italy, it's more of a smooth cream, like a creme brulee, like a tiramisu. So there are a lot of differences in the desserts everywhere. But yeah, all are my favorite for sure.
Great. So, uh, which one is your most favorite?
That's a very difficult question because personally, I love all desserts. But if you ask me to get the top three number, like, desserts, that would be the first one would be tiramisu. Second one would be a really nice creme brulee, a fusion creme brulee, I would suggest, like a lavender or something hot cake. And the third one would be the French opera, probably, or a really nice dense um, chocolate ice cream.
Got it. Uh, I was just curious, पेस्ट्री के साथ टिपिकली ड्रिंक कौन सी चलती है? इज इट कॉफी, इज इट टी, और इज इट अप टू द कंज्यूमर?
So it's up to the consumer, but yeah, coffee goes really
वेरी
well with desserts. There's no doubt about it. Also because um, the taste of coffee, if you know that there are a lot of desserts infused with coffee as well, because it goes so well, it blends so well that there are a lot of coffee desserts as well. The biggest example, as I said, is tiramisu. That's like a coffee dessert, like a coffee mascarpone cheese dessert. And a lot of people do have a lot of dessert wines as well with their pastries. But I personally prefer a cup of coffee.
गॉट इट। तो अब आप बताइए कि जैसे इंडियन पैलेट जो है थोड़ा डिफरेंट है ना? जैसे आपने बताया आप वहाँ से वापस
Very.
आई, रेड वेलवेट की डिमांड थी, लेकिन जब मैं किसी इंडियन स्टोर में जाता हूँ, जो पेस्ट्रीज वहाँ पे दिखती हैं और जो टेक्सचर होता है ना, वो बिल्कुल अलग होता है। स्पेशली मैंने नोटिस करा है, मॉइस्चर लेवल जो होता है, इंडियंस लाइक मोर मॉइस्चर व्हेन इट कम्स टू पेस्ट्री, है ना? और जैसे फ्रांस में आप बता रही हैं वो बिट मोर ड्राई। तो आप कैन यू आप बताइए आपके ऑब्जर्वेशन में क्या है कि इंडियन पैलेट की डिमांड क्या होती है व्हेन इट कम्स टू पेस्ट्रीज?
So, typically, it's not really dry, to be frank. French desserts, they're more, so less of sponge, basically less of the cake, and more of the mousse is France, basically. That's exactly what France is. And India is like a balance. They don't need much of mousse. They don't like much of mousse. It's more of cake and it's more of frosting, like a chocolate frosting or a buttercream frosting. It's like a balance. And when you see America or US or whatever, that entire section of bakery is a lot of cake and quite a bit of buttercream as well, but a lot of sponge is there. So that is the difference. But yeah, Indian palate um is very standard when it comes to Western desserts, because they like the Nutella, they like chocolate. They're very fixed with what they like. They don't like to explore a lot of fusion desserts and a lot of like a passion fruit or a raspberry, or that's rare. That's not as much as a Dutch truffle that would go out in my bakery, or a basic Nutella cake that would actually go. That's like a standard for everybody. Like everyone loves Nutella, everyone loves chocolate, everyone loves the OG vanilla pineapple. So yeah,
ऑल्सो मेरे ख्याल से पिस्ता का जो पेस्ट्री होती है, दैट्स वेरी टिपिकल ऑफ एन इंडियन सेटिंग।
pista.
हाँ।
More than pista, no. If you say pista, they do like pista kulfi and like a cassata ice cream, if you know what that is. That is like pista and strawberry and vanilla ice cream, like a mix of that.
Right.
and like roasted almonds around it and stuff. But if you ask me about cake, what is like the best sellers where it get out the most are the Black Forest, that is with cherry and chocolate and cream and a chocolate sponge, or that's like a vanilla pineapple. And as I said, there's Nutella or there's Dutch truffle. So these are like the standard chocolate Indian cakes that usually go out.
अगर मुझसे कोई गेस करने को बोलता तो आई वुड हैव थॉट मैंगो, मैंगो केक्स एंड मैंगो पेस्ट्रीज वुड हैव
Mangoes,
बीन.
because mango is seasonal, not everyone always goes for the mango this thing. But throughout the year, I have a lot of orders for Black Forest, and that truffle is like even for kids' birthdays, even for an uncle who's probably 85 years old, everyone's taking like the Dutch truffle and Black Forest and vanilla pineapple.
गॉट इट. लेकिन जैसे आपने बताया एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन के बारे में, तो मैंने कुछ पेस्ट्रीज देखी हैं जिसमें वो गुलाब जामुन डाल देते हैं ऊपर, यू नो.
Yeah, now they have started fusion, and so have I. There's no doubt about it because in the current, I mean, in this 1 year, especially after COVID, actually, I would say a lot of fusion. Now, the younger generation has now started accepting fusion a little bit. But what kind of fusion? They like a little bit of Indian touch in their cakes. They like a little bit of the Indian touch. Like if I give you an option of like a French entremet and probably like a gulab jamun cake, now that gulab jamun cake is still like at everyone's eye now. Earlier they didn't know what it was. They didn't when I introduced so I basically do a fusion French tart with gulab jamuns in it. Okay, so that was something very weird that people found was the kya hai. They didn't understand what it was in the beginning, but now that the trend is setting in of fusion, now people have started understanding the taste of it, have started placing an order for it, are getting a little more open minded than what it used to be when I started my business 6 years ago.
थैंक्स फॉर द इंफॉर्मेशन, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. तो मैंने देखा आपके मेन्यू में जो है, जो ऑप्शंस देती हैं आप, उसमें गिल्ट फ्री ऑप्शंस भी हैं. एंड
Yeah.
आई हैव सीन एग फ्री पेस्ट्रीज एज वेल. तो थोड़ा बताएंगे वो उस डिमेंशन के बारे में, पीपल वांटिंग
Okay,
स्वीट्स बट
so
हेल्दी ऑप्शंस.
So personally, I never used to believe in healthy desserts at all. I'm such a person who indulges in all the desserts, and I go like, then don't have it if you want to like get all healthy. Mat khao, ek bite kha lo, but what is healthy dessert? That was my mindset earlier. But I actually started baking a little healthier version of desserts for my grandfather. My grandfather and my mom, both of them are very health conscious. My granddad was diabetic, and my mom is very health conscious. So they used to be like, अरे यार हमारे लिए कुछ healthy बना लेना. इसमें oats नहीं डाल सकती क्या? इसमें गुड़ नहीं डाल सकती क्या? So that's when I started doing trials at home to replace oats instead of maida, to replace ragi instead of maida, to try to find a jaggery option. Or there are a few cakes that I don't use jaggery or anything. I just use the date syrup or sometimes just the sweetness of the fruit itself. So in my guilt-free section, um, you'll see an orange chocolate cake that I have. So I basically use dark chocolate chips, but the entire cake has only oats and a very little amount of jaggery in it. And the sweetness is actually just the fresh oranges. There are no preservatives, there are no artificial flavorings that I add in it. So I have tried to create these few. If you've seen my guilt free, they're just like 3, 4 items. That's what I've tried to create. Those are my recipes. I haven't like taken it from anywhere from the net or whatever. Those are something that I tried myself so that my family could be comfortable while eating it. Also, yeah, I was never in the mind of catering to the healthy section ever. I was like, khana hai khao, nahi khana hai mat khao. I used to be very vague about it at that time. But over the years, I did understand that this is probably required because everyone does get cravings. They do want to have a little bit, and some people unfortunately can't. So this is the little healthy section that I've started. And egg free, of course, is the market in India because of a lot of Jains, a lot of Gujaratis, a lot of Marwaris. They all want egg free cakes. They don't want anything that has got to do with any non-veg content. Um, Especially now, there's a lot of vegan trend that's going on as well. So egg to dur ki baat hai. No milk products as well. So I've come out with two cakes, vegan cakes as well now. But yeah, let's see how the trend goes. Keto, vegan.
I've not tried those, but does it compromise the taste in your opinion, or is it able?
Um, it does. It does compromise. I will not lie. If you have a nice hearty, normal chocolate cake, and if you go for a vegan chocolate cake, there is a little difference, quite a bit of a difference. But at least it satisfies your taste buds. It's not. It's not. It doesn't. It doesn't go like, "Arey, ye kya kha liya?" I try to do a lot of trials to get to match this kind of taste. Like it's similar, but it's not the same. I would say that.
But I've tried some eggless cakes. Or usme I couldn't find much of a difference. Maybe I'm not that refined of a taster.
So you will not come to know if you have like a basic sponge cake, like a black forest or a Dutch truffle, but you will find a lot of difference in the egg content if you have a French entremet. Like when you have a French cake, the smoothness and the consistency that you get by adding eggs is is ultra smooth. The texture, the taste is it's rich, and when you remove the eggs out of that, it's it's like a normal cake then.
आप जिस तरह से बता रही हैं, जिस enthusiasm में मुंह में पानी आ रहा है. Or I have to watch myself because every time you end something, I want to say like so sweet. So आप दिन की शुरुआत क्या पेस्ट्री से करती हैं क्या?
No, I wake up and I first start with my basuri diyas, and yeah, I first start baking for people, and then I eat my breakfast. That's what I do.
Got it. So do you ship to destinations in India or
No, no,
just in?
I currently don't. See, when it comes to cookies and brownies, those basic items, yes. But when it comes to cakes, of course, I can't transport like buttercream and chocolate ganache cakes because it just doesn't reach there.
Typical shelf life क्या होती है केक की? I'm just curious.
So I don't believe in keeping the cake for more than 3 days. I don't like it. So there are a lot of pastry chefs who basically make the sponge and they freeze it for months and days. And when they get an order, they remove it and do it. I really don't like that. I'm that kind of a person that if I know that I have an order tomorrow, I'll go early in the morning to my kitchen and I'll bake that fresh base. थोड़ा और time लगता है, I know it is time consuming, because then like if I'm baking it the next day, the shelf life of the cake increases for my customer also. The freshness is different, the shelf life is different. So when I give a fresh cake out, I have heard my clients tell me, अरे हमने केक फ्रिज में 9 दिन रखा था और फिर भी फ्रेश था. So it still stayed for those 9 days. That's because I baked it the same day. So I don't believe in having a long shelf life. Keeping it for long, no, that's something that I don't like.
Got it. थोड़ा dangerous लगता है मामला. तो just to wind up, मैंने देखा है कि जो जैसे आप पेस्ट्री बनाती हैं, केक्स बनाती हैं, तो एक तो है टेस्ट विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. फिर दूसरा होता है प्रेजेंटेशन. तो मेरे ख्याल से जो भी केक बनाते हैं, दे हैव टू बी गुड आर्टिस्ट. वो डेकोरेट जिस तरह से वो करते हैं, है ना? तो उसके बारे में थोड़ा बताइए आप कि उसकी ट्रेनिंग थोड़ी अलग होती है या जो मन में आया वो आप बना देती हैं?
So that's the biggest challenge for me because I'm self-taught when it comes to American bakery. I had no idea what fondant means, what decoration means. For me, it was just okay, glazing the cake with like a glaze, like a shiny mirror glaze. That's how France was like. They used to teach us mirror glazing. They used to teach us those kind of. We just have to pour over and put like a chocolate on it or a chocolate garnish on it. It was much simpler for sure. Now, when I started American bakery, um, it's been really hard. The taste, of course, yeah, I've been working on the taste more than the presentation, to be frank. So I've been a winner in the taste aspect. but in the decoration aspect, it's been very difficult for me. So that's something that I'm trying to work on even now. I do watch a lot of videos. I try to learn myself. I have to keep trying, but it is a task because it's a completely different study. So there are a lot of architects and painters and artists who have now become chefs, and I see their cakewalk and it's outstanding. It's so fine. Like their lines, their scaling, everything is so fine. Everything is so equally proportioned because they've studied that probably. And for me, it's like just self-taught. Like if you usually what people do is when they place an order, I ask them if they could share like a reference image if they have any, or what theme they want to bake me to bake a cake on, basically what the theme is. So if they I'll just give you an example. If the theme is Mickey Mouse, so I'll probably share a few images with them, and whatever image they select, or they'll be sharing it vice versa, whatever image they select. So I'll just imagine the image and I'll start creating my own thing. I don't have like a proper reference ke, okay, you have to do these steps to make that. I don't know how to do that. I'm just imagining it and creating it and doing it right now. So that has been a challenge for me. Um, but yeah, I've been trying to get there now. Let's see it. It's a different study, completely a different study.
और इसमें तो टेक्नोलॉजी भी आजकल काफ़ी आ गई है, वो प्रिंट कर देते हैं खाने पे। तो मैं एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में गया था, वहाँ पे कॉफ़ी के फ्रॉथ में वो आदमी की फ़ोटो लेते हैं, फिर उसी की वो उसमें कॉफ़ी की फ्रॉथ में वो पिक्चर प्रिंट हो जाती है। तो मैं तो काफ़ी आश्चर्यचकित रह गया था। लेकिन केक में भी होता होगा ज़रूर, है ना?
That's called edible printing. इसको edible printing बोलते हैं. So basically sugar की sheet बनाते हैं. It's like a clay type substance. They make it like completely flat and they do printing. They have actually machines. They have printing machines just for edible printing. And with edible colors, it gets printed out in few seconds. And of course, not everyone has it. We go to the market to get it done. Like how we normally usually get a normal printout to दुकान में जाके, हम लोग वैसे ही वो दुकान में जाके उसको बोलते हैं कि हमें ये प्रिंट आउट निकालना है.
गॉट इट। तो फ्रेंच अफेयर है आपकी बिजनेस का नाम, और उसका लिंक हम डाल देंगे डिस्क्रिप्शन में। तो कभी अगर बॉम्बे आना हुआ तो ज़रूर आपसे मिलेंगे।
ओ
लेकिन
100%.
थोड़ा सा दूर रहना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि आप तो इतनी एंथुजियाज्म से बता रही हैं कि डायबिटीज़ ना हो जाए।
नहीं नहीं, हम
नो।
एली रिजर्व भी खिला देंगे आपको.
वेरी नाइस, इट्स बीन अ प्लेजर टॉकिंग टू यू, है ना? और
सेम हियर,
मैं
लाइक.
आपसे आपसे अनुमति करूंगा कि आप दोबारा आइएगा, क्योंकि ये तो हमने एक ही डायमेंशन सीखा है आपके बारे में आज, पेस्ट्री शेफ, बट यू हैव मेनी मोर डिमेंशंस टू योर पर्सनैलिटी। तो मैं जब आपसे संपर्क करा, मैं काफ़ी प्रभावित हुआ उससे। तो उन सब बातों के बारे में भी बात करेंगे।
100%. और जाने से पहले मैं एक चीज जरूर बोलना चाहूंगी कि whoever's watching this video is ever thinking of getting into the food industry, um, it's a very passionate industry. Only if you're really, really passionate about food, you'll be able to do it. Otherwise, आपको थकान हो या दर्द हो, सब महसूस होगा. बट अगर पैशन हो, आपको कुछ भी फील नहीं होगा. you'll you'll smilingly happily finish your duty every day. So it'll be fun work for you if you do it passionately. If you're getting into the food industry, please keep a note of this.
बॉयज डाउन टू पैशन, है ना? वेरी वेल
हाँ
सेड।
जी.
अच्छा जी, नमस्कार।
नमस्ते. थैंक यू सो मच. आपसे बात करके बहुत अच्छा लगा.
लाइकवाइज, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू.